Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for another episode of In Case You Missed It. Hope you're all doing well and have had a good week. Today I'm going to be talking about Frank Lampard and some quotes he gave to BT Sport yesterday in an interview, and also talking about Willian's future at Chelsea. But before we get into any of that, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also smash that like button if you're enjoying the content, because it helps out the videos as well. But let's get into it firstly with Frank Lampard. He gave an extensive interview yesterday to BT Sport and Jake Humphries. It was a really good, open and honest discussion. Mainly, it was about Project Restart. It was about the Premier League returning and Frank Lampard's opinion on it. I want to give you some of the quotes, which are really interesting. I gave my opinions on Project Restart on Friday's video, so you can go and watch that. But let's get into what he said, and then I can discuss a bit more about Frank Lampard. He said, "The health and safety of players and staff is huge. We play a contact sport we're all desperate to see. It's a form of escapism to watch football, play and train, but how are we not going to put the players at risk within that? The other issue is testing. We will probably have a minimum of 70 or 80 staff at Cobham if we're going to restart training. But when we're looking around the world, I think it's important for football to take its place. I don't know the testing numbers for NHS and care workers, people who are doing these incredible jobs over the last 2 months. I don't think it would sit well, not just with me, but with anybody, if we didn't make sure that people who are in that front line are getting tested. I'm in contact with Bruce Buck, who goes to the meetings, and we speak regularly. The things I welcomed were that player and staff health and safety will come first, and the fact they're going to have conversations with players and managers, because that hasn't really happened." So going into what he said, I pretty much agree, to be honest. I think that I'm sort of in the middle on this issue, because I'm not one of these people who goes out and says just void the season, void it no matter what, just void it, just cancel it, because there are a lot of repercussions towards that, because of the Premier League, because of financially, because of sporting integrity, all of that stuff. I would love to see the Premier League restarted. But as I said on Friday, and as Frank Lampard pointed out brilliantly here, if it's going to endanger the lives of players, if it's going to put people at risk, if it's also going to make the Premier League look morally wrong in this situation, it isn't good. And also, if testing is being done on Premier League footballers instead of people working in the care industry, in the NHS, it's not a good look, and it shouldn't be done, and it shouldn't be prioritised. And as Lampard puts brilliantly, it's time for football to take its place in the world. It can't be this isolated bubble that's separate from all of us. And I think he speaks very well on that in terms of the football integrity issues. He wants football to be back, but you need to be realistic about the testing, what it's going to take to require to bring football back. The Premier League have sort of been in the same stance. They gave more plans, but at the same time, it's still waiting for it to be safety first. And I think that's good. That's a positive. But of course, there's always extremes with these things. You see people, as I said, who are very much in the void camp and just want that to happen instantly. But there also is another camp, and I've seen the likes of Ollie Holt, journalists, write articles saying that, you know, if you do want the void situation, it's because you're maybe an Everton or a Man United fan who just doesn't want Liverpool to win the league. I don't think that's fair, to be honest, and I think on both sides, as there is with so many issues now, people get very easily divided and sort of make assumptions about each other's arguments. But I'm not in that camp. I would love to see the Premier League restart, but I think you need to be realistic about the current standing and currently what's going on. I urge you to go and watch this interview and listen to it, because he doesn't just talk about Project Restart. He also reflects on the Bolton win in 2005, because of course on Thursday it was the 15-year anniversary of it. So go and watch that interview, and also let me know your opinions on Lampard's quotes in the comments below. And next, about Willian. He gave some quotes because of course his contract is running out soon, and he was on a Brazilian YouTube channel, and he was speaking about if he would join a rival club if he was to leave Chelsea at the end of his contract. So I'll go through his quotes and then we'll discuss it. It really is a hard decision. I identified myself a lot at Chelsea. I have a lot of love for everyone at the club and the fans. However, it is like I said before, if I leave Chelsea with no trouble and leaving the doors open, it would be fine to move to a rival club. That last bit there has, angered a lot of people, angered people that he would admit that. I think you need to be realistic about the current situation and realistic. And I think David Luiz's move sort of softens these quotes for me, because we've experienced it before. In a very dramatic situation of him leaving on deadline day. But I was speaking about David Luiz in a video a few weeks ago about how I felt about that situation. Willian is a player that I could very well see go to Arsenal to rejoin David Luiz. They're clearly great friends, of course, both Brazilian. He could go and rejoin Jose Mourinho at Tottenham. Tottenham may need a new winger. Jose Mourinho would love to have Willian back, I'm sure, because he's the type of player he loves to have. You know, Willian played under Mourinho very successfully, and I think the 3 seasons he was at Chelsea, you know, that Premier League title winning season in 14-15, Willian was a key component of that. That work rate that's still there within Willian's game, even if he is older, I think would be vital to Jose Mourinho. Even Liverpool have been linked in recent weeks, which I think is a little bit more unrealistic. But I've always said this with Willian. I think in time, people will value him more. I feel like a lot of the anger towards people who aren't as big fans of Willian to people who are, is that maybe people who are, you know, like myself, who are very fond of Willian, think he does a lot of great things for Chelsea, think he's at the same level of like an Eden Hazard. And I don't think that at all. You know, I don't think just because you're not Eden Hazard doesn't mean you're not valuable to Chelsea FC, and doesn't mean you can't be a really big player to Chelsea. And I hope in time people will value Willian. And you see quotes from people outside of Chelsea who value Willian very highly, and people in Chelsea who are very critical of Willian are sort of baffled by these quotes. And I think what it shows you is his standing. And I always point out the fact that he's been such a key Chelsea player for a number of years now, almost a decade, I think shows you how valuable he's been and what people within the game think of him. So you can't just disregard that. And I think if he was to go to a Barcelona, I think that also shows you what he's thought of in football. And Barcelona, for me, would be the best case scenario. He doesn't go to a rival. We don't have any of this stuff with fans, you know, splitting on him, disregarding Willian completely in his time at Chelsea. And he could go over to Barcelona, who've clearly wanted him and have come in for him before. And he could go there and spend the rest of his career there, and I think it'd be a nice time for him, and I think he'd probably get minutes there. I think he'd probably find his way into a lot of the first teams that I've spoken about. I think he would find his way into the first team of Arsenal, because I think he's had a better season than Nicolas Pepe, which I don't think anyone would have expected in the summer. I think he's had a better season than a lot of Tottenham players this year, a lot of Tottenham attackers. If he leaves, not signing a new contract, he can go anywhere. And if he wants to stay in London, there are only sort of 2 clubs he's going to go to, and that is Tottenham or Arsenal. And as I said, David Luiz has done it. Arsenal players have moved over to Chelsea before to our benefit. So you could see it happening. And, you know, I think it's just something we're going to have to wait and see what happens and then judge from there. But those are my opinions on Willian. Please let me know yours in the comments below. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.